Hello and welcome back to the Viking Size Gamer channel. Today we are going to be going through the top 10 features that we would like back in WWE 2K18. Now if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe for more up-to-date news in WWE 2K18, and also you'll be able to get gaming news and tips, how-tos and gameplay from some of the latest and greatest games out there. So with that in mind, why don't we cut to the first one? I Quit Match. It's been a long time since the I Quit Match has actually been inside a WWE game, but I think it's time that it was brought back. This match led to some classic gameplay between people like The Rock and Mankind, and you could play through it as them in older versions of WWE games. The I Quit Match was as simple as it's ever been. All you have to do is to beat your opponent into submission to the point where you put a microphone to their mouth, whether it's you or the referee depending on the game, and ask them if they'd like to quit. The gameplay was relatively easy, with people having to try and use a kick-out system before, and now they can bring it back. It'll certainly make the game more interesting rather than just having the last man standing mode that they have at the moment. Inferno Match. The Inferno Match was a mainstay for a long time in the WWE games also, being brought in the first place by Kane. He used it in his matches when he wanted to finish off a big rivalry. The match was simple. All you had to do was beat your opponent down enough in the game that you could then roll them under the ropes and into the fire. The first one to set their opponent on fire was declared the winner. The gameplay was led to be more dramatic. Every time you hit your opponent, the fire would rise up from the bottom, giving it a bit more of a dramatic flair. And it's certainly something that they could look to improve on. Who wouldn't like to see fire coming around anywhere with a classic match between Kane and Undertaker now that he's gone? Special Referee. Special Referee was another fantastic feature and game mode that you could have used, but unfortunately they took it out. Why? I've got absolutely no idea. This mode was one of the most fun modes you could ever play, especially if you were playing 2-player, maybe even 3 or 4-player. The aim of the game was as simple as it was before. You could actually play as the referee, or you could just give the role to a computer-based character to be played by another WWE superstar. You as the special referee, if you were playing as yourself, could control the count pace. So if you wanted to, you could give somebody a fast count and get them the win quick and easy. Or you could look at disqualifying them, or even get yourself involved in the match and just, if you wanted to, super kick everyone and then count who you wanted out. It doesn't really matter. The fact is that you could play in this mode and it would be incredibly fun no matter how you did it. The Hardys. Since the Hardys return, everybody's going to want to see them back in the game. Seeing as they're not just going to be under a Legends contract, it seems like they're coming back full time. So who wouldn't want to see them back in the game? This is something that we would definitely love to see, whether it's classic Hardys or the broken iteration. And I suppose this really does depend on whether or not the WWE lawyers win their lawsuit against Anthem Entertainment, and then they can get their broken Hardy gimmick back. Whether or not we'd like to see that, I don't know. Whether the WWE would handle them correctly in this situation is another thing completely. But that doesn't mean that we wouldn't like to see them in this version of the Hardys, because Matt and Jeff Hardy made a fantastic name for themselves outside of the WWE with this gimmick, taking on amazing tag teams. One of them was the Young Bucks. Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle was obviously recently entered into the WWE Hall of Fame. Everybody's happy for him. How could you not be? The guy is phenomenal. Some of his matches are absolutely unbelievable, having classic ones against Shane McMahon and also one fantastic match against Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho. I know, shouldn't have said his name, but he was part of a fantastic triple threat match where Kurt Angle lost 2 championships at once in the same match without even being pinned. Man, was he mad. He'll always be remembered for his antics outside of the ring and inside the ring. But one match stands out in particular, and that's his match with Shane McMahon. And that leads me on to my next point. Destructible Areas. As a WWE fan, we've seen people get thrown through all sorts of things, whether it's tables, ladders, doors, but I'd like more destructible things inside a WWE game. Kurt Angle put Shane McMahon through several glass panes. Now that was interesting enough, but what about putting people through car doors or car windows? Why aren't we able to put people through an outside area and bury them alive again? That'd be a fantastic match to bring back as well. But instead, I'd like to suggest something else. The Casket Match. The Casket Match was a fantastic match. Nobody can deny that. All you had to do was beat down your opponent enough so they could just roll them straight into a casket. Once you've sealed it, that was it. It was game over. I'd love to see this feature in gameplay put back in the game. If anything, beating down your opponent enough to try and roll them in the casket and having to play a mini game means that it made a bit more skillful rather than just having to rely on the fact that you had to pin them, which is easy enough in a game these days anyway, and it certainly adds a bit more variety. Plus it's another match for The Undertaker and Kane to fight, which is exactly what you want to do. Man, I really do miss The Undertaker. Commentators. The commentators needed to change for a long time, and now we've got wonderful additions like Mauro Ranallo and Corey Graves. Not only that, we also have Tom Phillips. All of these guys have been doing fantastic jobs. In fact, Corey Graves has passed on the torch to Nigel McGuinness on NXT, which means that really they should be looking at updating the commentators over there as well. I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to a lot of new updates for the commentary, even just moving the positions onto the ramp like they have for Raw. I think that this is going to be one thing that they're really going to have to work on because the commentary has been stale for a while in the WWE 2K series. It's not something we want to hear over and over again, the same things year in and year out, or else it just turns out to be exactly the same as FIFA. Championships. Everybody knows that the championships have been updated, and while the Creator Championships have been fantastic on WWE 2K17, it would be nice to have them officially put on the WWE 2K18 game. Everybody wants that, everybody needs that, and it's something that really they should be looking at doing. I know, the NXT Championships have just been updated after Wrestlemania. That's plenty of time though to get everything ready before the game rolls out in October. So now they're going to have to update all of the titles that have come out over the last year since they've updated. And these will include the Universal title, the Raw Tag Team titles, the SmackDown Live Tag Team titles, the SmackDown Live Women's title, the NXT Championship, the NXT Women's Championship, and the NXT Tag Championship. That's a lot of title belts they're going to have to add. Not just that, but they're going to have to include the old ones as well. Everybody's going to want to use the old titles as well as the newer versions. Maybe they'll have a universe mode where they can play up till recently, but nobody's going to want to forget the heritage of the NXT title. Everybody knows that the newest era of WWE superstars have all formerly been members of NXT. Tournaments. The WWE UK tournament was a rousing success, with the championship being won by Tyler Bate. That man, he can wrestle. But there's one thing that needs to be put back into the WWE games. That is tournaments. Everybody knows that the King of the Ring was one of the best tournaments the WWE put on, and now with the UK Championship tournament being hosted, it's maybe time to put it back in the game. It'd certainly be nice just to have a whole episode of Raw or SmackDown that you can edit in universe mode and attach a tournament to it. What features are you most looking forward to in WWE 2K18? Is there anything that I've missed out? Comment below, and maybe I'll be able to put them in the next video. Let's face it, there's always going to be a next video, and I'd like to hear your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this 10 features that should be in WWE 2K18. If you did, like and subscribe below. Also subscribe to the channel for more of the WWE 2K17 series, Road to WWE 2K18. We follow James Saxon as he moves his way through the independent scene, getting ready for a WWE NXT call-up as soon as WWE 2K18 hits the shelves in October. I look forward to seeing you again.